Alright guys, so this is how you change a tire. We'll see how long my battery lasts here, and I want to make it as real world as possible. So I'm coming out to change a tire in worst possible conditions in the middle of the night. Not at all what I expected to find in the back of a car, but hey, make do, right? So we need a jack. There's a nice air pump, which come in handy as we go. You gotta dig down a little bit because you got a jack underneath here. What you have to do is pull out your jack. I'll be able to find. Wonderful. Hold on. Alright, so we're going to go back to working on that. Fixing that tire. Pretend you got a flat tire. And pretend I got a car that has a flat tire. First thing you want to do is get on some level ground. You don't want to be someplace with a tire. You want to be someplace off the road, out of traffic, not on a busy highway. So get someplace nice and safe, out of the way. Make sure you're secure. Make sure you are visible. Make sure that you have your emergency blinkers on if you are in a traffic area. Set the emergency brake on a flat, level plane. Do not try to do it on a hill. But make sure you set your emergency brake, which will be inside the vehicle. Right now, you should already know what that is. Scissor jack. Try to zoom in on that. Less than ideal conditions, but it is what it is. With your scissor jack, you're going to find a place down underneath. You can see me kind of searching. Well, you can't see very well, but my shadow's kind of covering it. Underneath, there'll be a ridge. That'll fit nicely with the top of this scissor jack. My finger's sitting right on top of it. There's a ridge. That ridge will actually go up and underneath, and a place underneath the vehicle where it will sit nicely. That ridge will actually sit up underneath there and cradle your car nicely so it doesn't slip out on you. With a scissor jack, it works just like it says in the name. As you twist it, it'll actually raise. You can start it raising and then put it underneath the car and complete the lift. And it will lift. Believe you me, it will lift. But you need to make sure you have it on steady ground, have the car in an immobile position, which means that it will slide out underneath you. You have a car and you'll be able to raise. Don't overextend it or you have a problem. Once you get it in the air and the pressure off the tire, you come through here and you're going to loosen up the bolts. And make sure you go through each one. Don't loosen them all one at a time. Just break them loose all at once. Work your way around, but make sure you have enough pressure so that you don't end up with just one still attached and not loosened yet, because you won't be able to break it free all on its own. All that pressure will be on that one. So do it gently. You may have to kick it a little bit, top, bottom, break loose, but eventually you get your lug nuts out. You'll set them out to the side. Make sure you secure them. Make sure there's someplace where you're going to remember them. You can get your spare tire out of your trunk. It's going to be a smaller tire, a donut, and it'll slide right on. And what you're going to want to do is tighten. You're going to want to tighten fully, get it pressed up in there. Make sure you're not going to have a problem because it's going to fit so snugly because it's going to be smaller than your regular tire. You're going to tighten it down, and you're going to secure the lug nuts several times over. Make sure they're absolutely tight as you can be. You make sure that they're nice and good. You can come back over you lower your scissor jack once you have the lug nuts completely tightened on there. Come back over to your scissor jack, you're going to lower it down. And take it to the point where you can get underneath and pull it out from underneath the car. Okay, so you're going to lower that down, stow that back in your trunk. You get in your vehicle, secure your flat tire in the vehicle, and you're going to drive to the next service station where you have that tire repaired. You do not want to drive on that donut, that lower tire, very long if you can help it. It's not going to be a permanent tire. It's going to be a spare. It's there for emergency purposes. You're going to want to make sure the air pressure is good in it. You're going to want to make sure that you have it ready to go. It's going to take you probably 30 to 40 minutes if you're inexperienced. Your fingers are going to be cold, possibly bleeding. You're going to have a hard time trying to get it off if you had it professionally put on. the air wrenches, put them on pretty tight. But what you're going to want to do is really work at it, get used to it. Do it in perfect conditions, and so you'll be better prepared for less imperfect conditions. Do not change the tire on the interstate. Pull off the off-ramp, pull off far off. If you're in a fast lane and you have a blowout, get over to the right. Don't pull to the left unless you absolutely have to. But always pull off to the right. And if you can, if all possible, get off the interstate, get off the highway, get off a busy road, get off a slower road. Always set the emergency brake. Always. And always let somebody know what you're doing, where you're at, and what's happening with you, especially with cell phones. Let somebody know, even if they can't come out to help you at the moment, let them know where you're at and what you're doing. Check in with them. So, you should always have with you your jack, should be in the back. You should have your wrench, which was one that was in the previous video. And I'll try to pull it back up, but I think I locked my keys in the trunk. Those are two key. You'll have a couple other pieces that you need, but those are the two key things that you need are going to be your wrench and your jack. Jacks can come in different forms. The scissor jack most common in cars. So, but good luck. Take care. So, we got your lug nut wrench, which is right here. Never worked in a car. Perfect conditions, but this has got multiple heads, so you can see. Yours may not look like this, but it'll have a head, like a hex head. And this is going to make turning that scissor jack so much easier. You're going to hook in with the end, make a little hook, run that in, and then just twist it around. And it will raise up your scissor jack and lower. Those are the two tools that you're going to need. Some variation of those two and a scissor jack. I cannot stress this enough. I've never had a good situation to work on a car. It's always been bitterly cold. That's when tires tend to go flat. It's always been ice cold. It's always been rainy. It's always been miserable. It's always been nighttime when I can get around to them. So you've got to keep your head in check. Make sure you're in a safe environment. Make sure that you are ready to work. Have everything in place. So, different types of jacks, different types of wrenches, but your emergency brake, safe working conditions, well lit. Make sure somebody knows where you're at. Make sure you're on a flat plane. That's what you need to know. All right, bye-bye.